Shalom. I'm Rabbi Nathan Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. In this short Torah lesson, I'm going to talk about the portion of the Torah that we read in Eretz Yisrael, the Parsha of Behar. There's some very interesting lessons that we learn from this Parsha that can help us in our daily lives and really in our ethical living and our ethical relations between one another. The Parsha Behar starts out as follows. It starts out talking about the commandment to, when you go into the land, it says, when God says, when you come into the land which I will give to you, meaning the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael, when you come into this land of Israel, the land shall rest. It shall be a sabbatical year, a year of Shemitah. What was Shemitah? What is Shemitah? It's still practiced in Israel every 7 years. Every 7 years, the land was fallow. You didn't work the land. Any fruits that grow on the land, any vegetables, any things that were growing, were hefker available to anybody. Obviously, the concept of Shemitah, keeping Shemitah, not going out and working on your land, that had to require the greatest emunah and faith in God. The fact that you know that God's going to give you enough food in the 6th and the 8th year so that you can let the 7th year be fallow. But what happens in the Parsha immediately after the first section that deals with the Shemitah year? The first sentence after that says, when you sell something to your friend, or you buy something from your friend, you shouldn't, one person should not deceive another. You go down a few sentences, actually 3 sentences. It says, V'lo sonu ish es amiso, a person should not deceive his friend. V'yareishe me Elohecha, you should fear God. Ki ani Hashem Elokeichem, because I am the Lord your God. Several questions. First of all, when you see something like this immediately following Shemitah, what is that? What lesson can we learn from that? Just as when we learn the lesson of Shemitah, that we have to learn emunah to believe that God is giving us and will give us everything that we need to live in this world, total emunah, total faith in God, so too we have to understand that we don't have to cheat people, we don't have to lie, we don't have to deceive people, we don't have to say, well, gee, if I do this, I'm going to make so much more money. No, every Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, it's decided how much money you're going to make each year, regardless of what you do. And if you try to do something crooked, it's not going to give you any more money, but you're going to be violating the Torah. Now, why these two double languages of key? The first one, al tonu, and the second one, below tonu. Same words. The Torah, we know, doesn't repeat itself. And if you see the Torah repeating itself on something, there's got to be a reason for it. So Rashi takes a look and he says, lo tonu, the first one, he says, lo al tonu ish el es achiv, refers to cheating somebody in monetary matters. In other words, you're doing a business relationship, you have a store, you're selling something, you're buying something. You go into a store and you see something that you can obviously know it's marked down by accident to a price that is a ridiculous price. If you just go and give that to the clerk and pay for it and walk out, you violated this commandment. You've deceived somebody. So Rashi talks about the first part of this, references deceiving with monetary matters. But the second part, three sentences later, Lo sono ish esamiso, you shouldn't deceive or cheat your fellow. You should fear God because I am the Lord your God. Rashi says that is referring to not tona devorim, deceiving in money matters or things, but tona bedibor. He says it's deceiving somebody with your speech. What that means is you can't, several different things. You can't go around giving advice that may deceive somebody, lead somebody to make the wrong decision. You have to be careful in what you're advising people. More than that, it means that, for example, if you want to buy something online, you want to order something online, but you'd like to see what it looks like. So you can't really see and feel it online. So you say, hey, well, there's a store down here that sells the same thing. I'm going to go into that store and let me touch this object and see what it is. You have no intention of buying anything in that store. That is a violation of lo tonu because you're deceiving this merchant. He's thinking you're coming to buy and you have no intention of buying. Now, it doesn't mean if you want to go shopping and go from store to store, that's fine as long as you're intending to buy. But in the case I just gave you, there's no intention to buy. That's deceiving with words. Now, who's going to know about that? He's not going to know that you weren't really looking. So that's why the second sentence has the words, you shall fear God because I am the Lord your God. God knows what your thoughts are. God knows if you're doing something for an ulterior purpose, contrary to what it looks like. There's an interesting story in the Gemara. It's in the Gemara in Makos, Daf Chof Daled Amud Aleph. Tells the story of Rav Safra. Rav Safra was saying Shema Yisrael. And of course, when you're saying Shema Yisrael, you really can't interrupt to talk about other things. Somebody came up to him, and Rav Safra happened to have a valuable object. And this person came up to him and wanted to buy the object. So he says to Rav Safra, I want to buy this object of yours, and I'm going to pay X dollars for it. Rav Safra didn't answer him. He couldn't answer because he's saying Shema. So the person, seeing he didn't answer, thought, he must want more money. I better offer him more. So he says, listen, I will offer you X dollars plus 10% or whatever the figure was. Again, Rav Safra didn't answer him. So he figures, oh, he's really pushing a hard bargain here. Okay, I'm going to offer even more. He offers a third price, even more. At that point, Rav Safra finishes the Shema, and he says to him, your first offer was acceptable to me, and I will sell it for the first offer. Nobody would have known if Rav Safra would have thought the first one's good, but I'll get more. No, this is a demonstration of what is told to us. It says, the Pasuk says, Emet V'Emunah, Chok V'lo Yavor. Truth and faith is a law that you shouldn't override. You shouldn't ignore it. So here, the case of Rav Safra, nobody knows what's in his mind except God. And he realized God knows what's in my mind, and I was satisfied with the first offer. That's the one I'm going to take. That's what I'm going to take. To do anything different is to cheat your person with your thoughts, with your words. And that's something we have to work on. Now, none of us can be ascribed to be like Rav Safra. It's pretty hard to do that. But we can still work on ourselves, work on our relationships with other people, work on our relationships in a business setting, whether it's in a store or not, and be careful not to cheat anybody, either with money or with words and with thoughts. With that, we're able to fulfill Emet V'Emunah, truth and faith. Chok V'lo Yavor is a statute, a law that you shall not pass. With that, I wish all of us a wonderful Shabbat. I thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, a place where you can do lots of interactive learning, and I invite you to go there. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.